Gather around, Skol brothers and sisters. This is Minnesota Sports Talk, presenting Under the Lights with your hosts, Justin and Dave. Next in 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? This is Under the Lights on a Monday. This is Justin with Purple and Gold for Days, Dave with Minnesota Sports Talk, and our very, very special guest, SK.
What's up?
How are you this evening, our friend?
Man, I'm good. I'm living. I'm here. I'm talking about Vikings. It's off season. We're getting ready for this free agency, this draft. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Aren't we all? Well, before we get started, you've got some announcements to make about a news channel that you have revamped, revitalized, and brought back from the dead. Why don't you give us a quick rundown on what you got going on, man?
We were never dead, Justin. We were never dead. We were just in.
Let the resurrection begin. Let the resurrection begin. Holy water.
Yeah, we were just in hibernation, man. So, yeah, we have a brand new media network, Purple SKOL'D Media. Make sure you guys give it a follow on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. We got all of our top content creators, and we're adding a few more to, or we're in the process of adding a few more to. We got our guy Justin Day on there. Dave just agreed to doing a show. It might be with Matt Rap. It might be, a solo show. Who knows? Dave's going to surprise us. But we also got, of course, Rap and the Purple Pocket Podcast, and then GG Sports with Jamie and Casey. Like I said, we're adding a couple more, but we're doing big things, man. We're doing big things. So be sure to tap in, follow us, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Purple SKOL'D Media.
So I am just going to start off with the softball question here that for anybody that hasn't seen you, I know a lot of our followers are crossovers here, but just give us the 2-minute rundown of how you became a Vikings fan and why you decided to jump into this fun fandom that we have, the purple pain, as they say. What's your story, SK?
Well, believe it or not, I actually got to choose my football team growing up. I didn't grow up in the Minnesota area. And believe it or not, I chose to be a Vikings fan. I wasn't born into this. I wasn't born in Minnesota. I didn't grow up there. I'm actually in California. But at the time, when I started watching football, we didn't have a team out here in the LA area. I'm about an hour and a half east of LA. So it was either the 49ers, the Raiders, or the Chargers. I was like, nah, I'm good. And at that time, 97, 98, 99, this is prime Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Randall Cunningham. And then that jumped me into the Dante Culpepper era. And I just been in this pain and suffering ever since, man. So here I am with you guys talking Vikings football now and wishing we would have played in the Super Bowl a couple of weeks back. But hey, yeah, it's all good.
I have some questions. Tell me about the autograph mini helmets behind you. Is that a Tom Brady?
Oh man, no, I wish it was a Tom Brady. Everything is Vikings related up here, including the Michigan Wolverines helmet. That is an Anthony Carter.
God, that's cool.
Helmet. So yeah, I had to keep it still Vikings up here, but this nice blaze one, this golden right here is a Kirk Cousins, and then this throwback one here at the bottom is another Anthony Carter. So yeah, if anybody wants to trade me for a Tom Brady, I'm more than willing. Michigan Patriots or Buccaneers, either one, I'll take.
So that brings up a very good point. You're also a fan of Michigan, if I recall correctly. Is that right?
Oh yeah, go blue.
I actually got to see Tom Brady play. I was living in Florida at that time too, and it was his junior year. It was it was Tennessee against Michigan.
Michigan, yeah.
And Michigan won that game, and then the next year he goes on, wins the Rose Bowl, I believe, and then gets drafted.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Yeah, I'm like, that's the only Tom Brady game I've ever seen live, and then he was a junior in college.
Did he even start that game? Because I knew he was splitting time.
Yeah, he started. They had a big ass running back then. He was more of a draft prospect than Tom Brady was.
Was it Horde? I think his name was Horde. I'm not too sure what his name was.
Forget his name.
Leroy Horde?
No, I don't think it's Leroy Horde.
Yeah, I know it's not Leroy Horde. I'm just being
Skol, David Michelson.
What's up, David? Thanks for joining us.
David Skol.
What's up, man?
All right, so let's start off with this. Give us your quick rundown. We did a show here, but for those who didn't catch it, give us a quick rundown of what you thought of the hiring of the defensive coordinator, Brian Fuentes here. You like it? You love it? Do you want more of it? What you got?
Ooh, I love it, man. That was my first choice. I don't know about you guys. When I seen that Brian Flores was a possibility, I said, do not let him leave the building. Then, some other names started creeping in. Sean Desai, Evero, where did Evero ended up going to Carolina?
Panthers.
Yeah, Carolina. Yeah.
I endorsed him. And he didn't even interview with us. And I said, fuck him.
You didn't even want Flores, Dave. Let's call it real. No, I was playing.
Oh, you didn't want Flores, Dave?
So yeah, I actually initially wanted him. I did that I talked about that on a video as him being one of the choices, one of the top choices with GG Sports and those guys on Skull Experience. And then I went and looked at the stats, realized he's never actually been named a defensive coordinator, but then his defenses at Miami were 32nd. And that's the first year of his, taking over a team. And I'm like, this is going to be his first year taking over a team. Are we going to have the 32nd ranked defense? Then after find out, funny thing is, once you hire a guy, you start finding out more information about him. So everybody comes to the woodwork to do articles. And I realized, well, I know there was talk of it, but he actually was the play caller for the NFL, the Super Bowl champion Patriots. Even though he wasn't named coordinator. And then he wasn't calling the defense. He let his defensive coordinator do it his first year and his third year. And those were the two mediocre years, bad and mediocre years. The good year was the, elite, turnover defense that he had his second year. So
that was the year he was calling the plays where
I don't see any, I didn't see any articles that says he wasn't or someone else was, but I did see that his first year and his last year. So that's why I was hesitant about him. I was like, this was under his watch, 32nd ranked defense. I don't know. I just, so I did a video but I did say in that video that I at least know that he's going to be aggressive, and I'll take that over what we had last year. So I wasn't completely shitting on him. I was only, voicing my concerns about, he had some kind of bad ranked defenses.
Yeah, and can I mention something, kind of a side note, but this still ties into this. We got to give credit to Kwesi in this front office. When we need a change at a specific, whether it be coaching staff or position, it's not a gradual change. We completely go completely opposite. When it was Mike Zimmer and we had the whole thing, and then Kwesi was granted the opportunity to pick the next head coach, he picked the complete opposite of Mike Zimmer, a guy who's, happy-go-lucky, he's going to talk to players, and, it's contributing to everybody together instead of Mike Zimmer being Mr., grumpy guy, and it's my way or the highway. And then you go to this defensive coordinator position. Ed Donatel was, the cool, happy guy, laid back. We're going to, just like his defense, we're going to be laid back, and we're just going to come up and try and make a tackle and just real soft. And we completely go opposite of Ed Donatel and go Brian Flores, who is 100% aggressive, who's going to get after the quarterback, who's going to blitz the majority of the time. So I like it. If the front office sees we need to make a change at something and it needs to be drastic, they make that drastic change. They don't, maybe we just need to switch it up a little bit. No, this defense needs to get better. Let's go out there and get one of the top defensive coordinator prospects out there in Brian Flores. So I love the move. I love the aggressiveness of the move.
I have David Michelson. I was not talking poop emoji about Flores. I was not talking poop emoji. I was only concerned that it was defenses, but I just wasn't impressed with the group of defensive coordinators that we're choosing from. I was like, hey, at least go after a young guy that doesn't have a bad track record. Someone aggressive. But I did say I would not cry if we got Brian Flores. So if that's talking poop emoji about him, then I guess I was talking poop emoji about him. Skull Mafia, what's up, man?
What's up, Skull Mafia? And who else just came in here? What's up, Raymond? Thanks for joining. Appreciate you guys. If y'all could hit the like button. If you don't already subscribe on all the Facebook pages, they are scrolling at the bottom. That is Purple and SKOL'D Media.
Who texted that?
I did.
From Minnesota Sports Talk?
Yeah.
You're signed up under me, man.
Oh, man.
Now, in the stream area, you can send it from everyone so that everyone.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when you're running it next time and
he's sabotaging your page. He's sabotaging your page.
I thought that was our first
rule.
We don't talk about that stuff.
Anything bad said today, I'm gonna blame it on
Justin.
Justin.
It's all
you're gonna
Justin.
do that regardless. That's just standard operating.
I do.
So
I do.
I don't know why we're going, but anybody, thanks for hitting the like buttons. We are now also simulcasting on the Purple and SKOL'D Media Facebook page. So if you do not already like on there as well.
Hey, Felicia.
No. What's up, Felicia? Thanks for joining us.
Always
Let's get her up there. Thanks for joining. We appreciate you. Dave Matheson's also in the house. Thanks again, everybody, for joining. So, having said all that, now for me,
Matheson.
Michael, man, this font's really small. My eye's really bad. I should put my bifocals back on. Sorry, Dave.
Damn it, Justin.
There's too many Daves.
He's only been listening forever.
There's 3 Daves in the house right now. I start to get off of these. But having said that, no, I think this was the best move for this team for this year. And anybody who's concerned about, well, he might be a one and done. So what? If he's a one and done, that means our defense is light years better than it was before. Yeah. So we should be happy with such things. We got to take what the Vikings do. They play for 1 year at a time. And if you're going to play for 3 years, then yeah, Flores wasn't maybe the best choice from a long-term perspective, but who the heck knows? You know, this guy's been trying to get jobs. Who knows if he even gets one? We could have the number 1 ranked defense and he still might not leave because, you know, he's kind of getting blackballed right now. So to me, you take the best option available to you and you roll with there if that's the way you're going to proceed with the team here.
I think if anybody's overcome being, you know, that stigma of being blackballed, it has been him. Because he didn't drag it out in the media. He's kept quiet about it. He's not making he's not making it a crutch. I think that is bought him a lot of goodwill, and people were still looking at him as a head coach. So, you know, I don't know necessarily if pulling your name out of the hat and taking a D coordinator job rather than sticking with it will cost him. But I thought it was going to be a crazy fit after he tried to get rid of Tua Tagovailoa, if I say that right, and then go to the Cardinals and get told to F off on the sidelines by that quarterback.
He wasn't having that.
I didn't think that would have been an appealing situation for him.
Nope.
And I think he did the right move and went to our team where, again, he was a fan from afar, especially his kids. So
yes.
I think it was a good fit for him. And if he could show he turned another defense around, then great.
Yeah, and I'm sure Mike Tomlin probably put in a good word for Minnesota as well, with him being what was he, the linebackers coach?
Yeah, and Kevin O'Connell's, you know, they weren't like best buddies or anything, but they thought well of each other from their time in New England. So
that little connection, man, will go a long way.
Yeah, it has.
So no, I'm ecstatic for the hire, man. Just like you said, if he goes off and gets a head coaching job next year, that means our defense made at least somewhat of a major improvement. And if our defense makes that major improvement next season, I don't see why we're not a playoff team again and have the possibility of going, making a little run in the playoffs. So yeah, man, I think we're heading in the right direction. We have the right guy, and it's an attitude thing. I don't think it's necessarily just schematic-wise, which it is schematic-wise because we want to be aggressive as far as blitzing and everything. But I think it's that aggressive mindset. Our defense has kind of been lacking in identity. We had a little bit of attitude, or maybe a little bit of – it was more like fun from our defense last year. We didn't necessarily have an attitude or any nastiness in our defense. It was more of – we're just out here having fun, and if we can get a turnover from time to time, that's cool.
What completely flipped me 360 on Flores is after the press conference, and I think there was maybe another interview, I don't know, but these two statements. Someone asked him, "Is it 3-4 or 4-3?" And he says, "Who we playing?"
Yeah, that was the press conference. Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then the other thing was like, fitting the the defense around the players, and being creative. And, and being aggressive and all that. He said all the right things when you did not hear the right things come out of Donatel. He was like, hey, we got a scheme. Let's, he wasn't, it was like, hey, this scheme works, man. You're going to love it.
The thing is we all bought into it when Donatel first got hired, though, which it's normal. It's normal for a fan base to be like, oh, he sounds so great and positive, and we're just all gonna get along out there. And then we saw the product he actually put out there. The worst thing was before the playoff game, he had the nerve to go out there. Was it him or Patrick Peterson and say, "You're gonna like what you see out of this"?
It was him. I heard it from him.
And the reason why I think Patrick Peterson's gone is because he likes that style of defense.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the capability
on him.
He produces. You can't be mad at him for it, though. He produces in that defense. He produced for us.
Right.
He wasn't terrible, but I mean, he had a terrible game against the Giants, obviously. But he wasn't bad in this scheme. So you can kind of understand why he would be defending Donatel, but the numbers are right in front of you. Like,
well, I think he wrote it. I think he wrote it on the wall, basically that, hey, I'm probably gonna be gone now because Flores is hired, and we're gonna go man a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really blame the guy. I mean, he's a borderline Hall of Famer playing.
He's not borderline. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer for sure.
I'm just keeping my line, but.
You're being cautious on that.
I'm being cautious. People say, "Oh, you said it," but he doesn't have the skill set he had 5 years ago. And this skill set for Donatel, he was probably the one that benefited the most from it. I mean, it only came at the cost of, Danielle Hunter and Harrison Smith and a bunch of other guys. But having said that, there's absolutely no doubt about it that he is the one that is going to benefit the least from Donatel's system being gone. And frankly, as much as we liked him and it was a great 2 years, he does provide a lot of veteran leadership. I just don't see any way that he's back with this team next year. Do you guys think I'm on something or onto something by saying that? Do you think there's any chance Patrick Peterson is back or no?
No, I don't.
There's a chance. I mean, only if he's sitting out there and we don't get anybody. And I think that's how we got on our team last year. But that was coming off a bad season. Yeah. So I'm like,
he's gonna want to get paid. He's gonna want one last paycheck before he.
I don't think he'd last long enough for us to be settling on him like we had what we did last year.
Yeah, I'd rather place my money somewhere else than a younger, more versatile quarterback. That's actually be better for this scheme. So I love P2. It was fun while he was here, but I do think he taught the young guys. I think he was a leader to the young guys, and I think that's the same way with Harrison Smith. Yeah. And it would be sad to see him go in that, and the whole the lore of him saying we only need 5 touchdowns. Yeah, that's some Viking shit right there that I'm gonna hold on to for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can hear him on the sidelines doing. I only need 4.
What's up?
Like I said, we love P2, man. We love P2.
What's up, John B? Thanks for joining us. Very much appreciate you. And you know what? We were going to get to this later at some point, but let's just go ahead and now. Dalvin Tomlinson officially is a free agent as of today. His contract has voided. Vikings got a $7.5 million salary cap hit. I'll just put it out there. What are your thoughts on Dalvin Tomlinson? I'll start with you, SK. Do you think that he's another guy where we hope may be sticking around? Because the bottom line is whatever they sign him for, they're already into him for $7.5 million. Do you think it's worth getting into trying to re-sign him to try to recover some of that sunk cost, or that it's just time to move on in a different direction?
No, I think he's back. I think he's back. It's just because we have too much money tied into him regardless. So I think he's back.
So my thought process there, and you, SK, what do you think about this? Is that all right? We got $7.5 million, but then we also got to pay him. And what's he worth? $10 million, $11 million. Yeah. So isn't that an $18 million player then?
Well, if you sign him to a multi-year deal, you could structure it.
So now we got him for a couple years.
Yeah, it would
at $11 million.
Yeah, if you're going to bring him back, you absolutely have to do it for at least 2 years to spread that cap hit out. You're right. If they signed him for a 1 year deal, then they'd be double dipping. Yes.
So my thought process is, hey, a cheaper option would try to replace a guy like that in the draft. Get a young guy in the draft. Plus, he was playing D-end. And we drafted a DN, a 3-4 DN last year. Who knows what he's going to be like? Obviously, Dalvin's a better choice. Yeah. But if Dalvin goes sign somewhere else for $10 million, $11 million, 2-year contract, isn't that a 3rd-round pick coming our way? So we would go draft a young guy
yeah.
to replace him, and then we go get a 3rd-round pick.
Well, it depends on how many free agents we sign. So that's the formula is that you get players for everyone that you lose, but then that number gets subtracted by the ones that you sign.
But again, it's the type but it's the quality too.
Right.
Like, is it like we sign a $4 million guy that might not count against us, like losing an $11 million guy, right? So there's like a scale, right? This is where I pretend to not. This is where I don't know the exact,
This is
equation.
Justin's game. This is Justin's
I know
game
about.
right
I know a decent amount about the cap, but I don't know the formulas as to how they calculate compensatory picks. There's some formula. You're right.
I sign this guy for $1 million, but I lose this guy for $10 million, and they cancel out. No, I don't think it's like that. I think it's I think it's the value of the player is,
And I think the time that you get him too.
Right, that's another good point. So no, but to your overarching point, if the formula works out that way and you don't re-sign him, then yes, you could theoretically get a compensatory pick for him.
Losing a Peterson, losing a Dalvin, that's going to help us in that category big time, I think.
Now you said you'd replace him in the draft, or you'd replace him in free agency?
Well, draft, but we also got a guy we drafted last year. We haven't, fully checked out yet. So I don't know.
True.
So either way, you're saying probably not, Dave, is what you're saying. Probably not.
Probably not. I could see us re-sign them if we really like him, but Flores has got to like him. And I don't know. I think he's more of I think he wants to collapse the pocket, and I don't think we were collapsing the pocket. I think our biggest weakness was our 3 interior defensive linemen and getting to the quarterback. I think that was our biggest weakness this year, because our cornerbacks and our safeties can't hold it forever. And I think a lot of that confusion back there was led to by Donatel and using players that are like Evans isn't a zone cornerback. With all the videos I saw him in college, he was playing press the whole time.
Yeah.
I just didn't see him using the guys that they were the way they're supposed to be using back there. So they couldn't cover for that long. And Danny Dimes has all freaking day to throw, because we can't collapse the quarterback. And how many times did you see almost misses by Za'Darius because the quarterback could step up?
Yeah.
All he had to do is step up.
Yeah.
And no one was there to push the pocket. And that's why I think whatever we can do to get that pocket to collapse. And I don't know, Dalvin was doing that. I think the guy we lost in preseason was doing that. What was his name? McKenzie?
Oh, is that the dude we let go, right?
He put him on IR, but for the year, we released him. Injury designation.
Yeah, injury designation.
Which means he's a free agent, but he's older. So but he looked promising. Can you find a diamond like that? Like we found maybe a Ruby and Shelly and a Ruby and Tonga.
What's Deron
diamond?
What's Deron Payne's market value right now?
Probably around 12. I'll look it up.
Around 12?
I'm guessing somewhere in there. That's the guy. If you could get Deron Payne, okay. According to Spotrac, Payne's projected mark. Oh, I was a little light there. 19, little lights. 19 million.
Yeah,
so
I
think he's going to price himself out of our ability with what we got going on. But that would be a home run sign if you could get that guy. But to your point, Dave, about the weaknesses on this team, it was the interior defensive line and the interior offensive line. If you can fix those two things amongst anything else, the rest of your team is going to follow suit on that. But go ahead, SK. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, you can check him off the list. He ain't coming to Minnesota.
Yeah, no.
He's gone.
But an option I was thinking, like a nose tackle, because I think that was the biggest area of need. Because Harrison Phillips isn't going to collapse the pocket anytime soon. I think he's a workmanlike guy that, hey, I'll take on the double team so other guy can get a tackle, but he's not going after the quarterback. So I went at a Keanu Benton. Now, I think Dante from East Coast Gridiron said he was getting worked in the Senior Bowl practices, but game tape kind of told me a little bit different.
Yeah, game tape's different.
So I don't know. I see a guy like that being available in some cases 3rd round. I don't think he lasts that long because I think that nose tackle, it's not deep. So I don't know. This guy gets out of range for us because we don't have a second round pick. But I like a guy that can get after the quarterback up the middle. And we played around with that, putting like our DNs in a 4-3 at the tackle position. We saw that under Zimmer. Who knows? Maybe we could just mix guys and move them in third down position. I think Flores can get real creative with that. But hey, I think the biggest need is some guy sitting at nose tackle and just collapse in the pocket. That's
well, look at the majority of the playoff teams in this year's playoffs. They all have a nose tackle or defensive tackle that is dominant, that can get pressure on the quarterback. You look at the 2 Super Bowl teams. They got Fletcher. Philadelphia had multiple.
He's available.
He's a little too old. I think he might.
I'll
retire
rent for a year, man.
I think he's either retiring or going back to Philly. I don't think he'll play for anybody else. He's kind of on that Jason Kelce thing. Look, I'm either retiring or I'm playing for the Eagles. But I just think you need, if you're a contender, if you want to go down this route of being a contender, and what was the quote that Kevin O'Connell said, a championship standard?
Standard, yeah.
So to be one of those championship standard teams,
collaborative championship standard. I'm just kidding.
These big words. These big words.
The triangle of collaboration. Yeah.
Triangle of collaboration. You're going to need a very good defensive tackle or nose tackle. So, we can rattle off all the playoff teams. And, outside of San Francisco didn't have a dominant defense set, but they had Kinlaw, right? Who's actually really good. So
I got a comment on AJ here. AJ, I literally just did a video on Trenton Simpson this morning. So check it out. Minnesota Sports Doc. Go check it out. Yeah, there's a 3-minute highlight tape in there too. I really like him. I think it's not that I like him. I think Brian Flores would like him. And I have seen him be as late as 45th or something like that. I don't know. We'll find out.
So are we all sold that Eric Kendricks is more than likely gone?
No.
Not as much as I was.
Not this guy.
Not as much as I was. I'll say that. Real quick, let me get some shouts. Ron, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Excuse me.
Whoa.
Get back to your question.
Don't die on us, Justin.
I know, right? Bandino, what's up? Thanks for joining as always here. I agree that I had Kendricks as being 95% gone until they hired Flores. My thought process is maybe with Kendricks, he definitely lost a step. Nobody's going to deny that. But maybe he lost a step and a half because he took the responsibility from Anthony Barr of having to call the defensive signals in from the defensive coordinator and had the responsibility of making sure everybody was lining up right. And maybe that slowed him down just a little bit. I could see Flores saying, you know what, I could still get something out of this guy. Now, having said that, all due respect, and again, I'm not talking about taking money out of players' pocketbooks, but his cap number is going to have to be reworked on some level, one way or the other, because we got to make some salary cap space somewhere. And unfortunately for Eric Kendricks, he's the one who's got the most that can be saved with the littlest amount of dead cap hit. But no, I would say that now I'm going to put the chances of him being back at about 30-35%. I'm not saying that I think it's a majority overwhelming that he'll be back, but I think there's a better chance now than there was before. Circling back to Ron's question here. Was it the players or the D scheme? And my answer is yes. As in it was both. Okay. We want to make Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman the big bad wolves and, all that good stuff here. But let's not pretend that it was only the scheme, and let's not pretend it was only the players. I think it has to be a little bit of both. What do you guys say on that one?
Yeah,
I am leaning heavily towards the scheme. And I'm going to use Kendricks as an example. All right.
Okay.
He's had his 2 best years in tackles. I know tackles is what overrated stat. No, it's one of the most important things in defense. 2 years in a row, I had the two highest tackle numbers in his career. Last year, he only did it in 15 games, and that was his best. 2020, he was going into the season. He was ranked 83rd best NFL player by his peers. 2021, going into the season, ranked 70th. Mid-season, PFF ranked him all-pro PFF mid-season. So this year he went to crap. Just all of a sudden fell off the mountain. He was trending up.
Hit an age cliff now.
He went Pro Bowl in 2018, All Pro, 2020, 83rd best player in the league, 70th best player in the league, All Pro mid-season, went to crap. I don't see that. I just don't see that happen, and I don't think Brian Flores sees that happening either.
So it sounds like we can get a lot back in a trade. If you ask me.
We should get a second-round pick for him, right?
But I do agree with Justin. We can't do it at $11 million.
No, that's the key. To me, if Eric can be brought back,
we got leverage now. I think we got leverage.
I'm happy with him coming back at a reasonable number because at that point, then everybody agrees. Okay, I'll take a little bit less if I'm Eric Kendricks, but I'm going to be in a system where I can flourish again and I can make it up the year after that. I'm not totally disagreeing with what you're saying, Dave. I don't know that it was that simple, but I agree that there were a lot of determining factors that I don't think it was just hey, Eric Kendricks.
In like Harrison Smith, he was in the Pro Bowl last year, like almost a 90 PFF grade, and now he's crap in one season.
Yeah.
I mean, players do fall off the map, but God.
Well, Harrison Smith's a different one. Harrison Smith is, hey, I do anything. I do. I'm not going to sell the farm to him and like
totally misuse.
He's grandfathered in.
Yes, he's a guy that I bring back. He's a guy that I find.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Well, you can't get rid of that guy because of the cap. I mean, it's a bad cap situation for us. So we need to at least play him one more year. We can't move him at all or do anything with him.
And he's the guy I am most excited to see in the Flores.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see him go out like this.
Oh
yeah, and I'm also excited to see Lewis Seen. Let's not forget the type of player Lewis Seen is. He's the guy that's gonna fly around and put his pads on somebody.
Samoa, Lewis Seen.
Oh my God!
And he's saying Booth by name. So these are all guys that fly to the ball.
That attitude. It's the attitude of your defense. Our defense is it's going to start to mold an attitude and a certain way of playing that we haven't seen in a long, long time. We've always had smart players that just know where to be, that can make good plays on the ball, but we've never had those players, or it's been a long time since we've had those players that have that attitude. Like, I'm going to put my helmet on you and you're going to feel it when you come over the middle. And I know it's kind of hard to do that nowadays in the NFL with the rules and everything, but you can still strike fear into the opposing team. Our defense is not striking fear into the
we hadn't seen Murder Scene in a while.
Haven't seen Murder Scene in a while.
Murder Scene. We haven't heard that in a while, man.
Well, we got a new Murder Scene, but Scene spelled C-I-N-E.
Hey, not to plug another show, but SK Wobcast 2.0, he did a video on if we just replace some of the younger players or made these replacements, like putting the Metellus over, in safety and, Asamoah, and they use the PFF grades and to see the improvements throughout the defense. If you take PFF, it's a rating, and you got to say, hey, it's rated against, how many players. So, if you're got a higher grade, then you're probably at least in the top half. Right.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You got to take it as a measuring stick of some kind, but you could see where he took the 11 starters and then put these younger guys in with their grades and how much better the defense had looked on paper. He just put it to practice and see what happens.
Now, I think we can all agree. We're not saying we put these younger guys in on this defense and we become this dominant, great defense.
No.
We're saying you put these young guys in and let them fly around. This is going to be a very exciting defense to watch, whether they're giving up 30 points here and there or whether they're stopping somebody for 13 points in a game here and there. They're going to be fun to watch. They're going to be very, very fun to watch.
I think they're going to cause a lot of turnovers. And I think they're gonna get burnt deep a lot.
Yep,
pretty much. I'll say. Well, let me get some shouts in here. Mary, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. Hope you're feeling better. Definitely. Oh, absolutely. Flores will have something to say. The scheme of the players are present. And first off, again, greatest handle of all time. My Worthless opinion. Thanks for joining us. It's not that they're crabs, that they're too expensive and slowing down. Yes, we agree, Worth. What we're saying is that some of these players, if they could be renegotiated, like an Eric Hendricks, could be renegotiated down to a serviceable number, they still have some stuff that comes in there. But to the point of where we're going with defining the balance between the older players and the young players. It's
I
not
think me
one-sided.
saying that all of a sudden Kendricks became crap. I was being over dramatic, but
You? No, I'm kidding, dude. What's up in the zone? Thanks for joining us. We very much appreciate you. And by the way, if y'all could, please go and subscribe to Purple SKOL'D Media. That is the new mothership that we will all be part of. That will be myself, Dave, Rap, GG.
It's my vacation home. It's not my mothership. It's my vacation home.
If you could, if you're watching on Facebook, hit the like buttons there and help us help the channels out a little bit that way. Or if you're on the Facebook or YouTube page, hit that like button, hit those shares buttons for us there. Having said that, to your point, SK, this defense, one way or another, is going to be massively different than it was last year. And it very well may give up more points than the quote-unquote bend, don't break does. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be famine, feast. There's going to be games where they're shutting people down, and there's going to be games where they're getting burned all over the place. But I don't see it being the death by 10,000 paper cuts that was the Ed Donashell defense from time to time. What's up, Andrew? Thanks for joining. Very much.
Well, it's all about being situational, just like Kevin O'Connell says. You know, in the
Who we playing?
What's the saying he was saying? And when the moment is
3-4
biggest,
4-3.
No, not in the press conference, but when
the
moment is biggest, we play our best. Whatever the hell his saying was, when the moment's the biggest, our biggest show, or some shit like that. But you look at these teams, being situational masters or whatever he calls it. You look at these teams, especially Kansas City Chiefs, and I know they're Super Bowl champions, and you know you can only compare the Super Bowl champions to so many teams in the league. But you look at their defense. Their defense isn't great, but when it comes down to it, when it's okay, we're fighting for playoff position or it's playoff time, that defense comes to play. Chris Jones comes to play. Frank Clark comes to play. So it's all about being situationally good in those positions. So when the spot is big, you need a stop, you get a stop. And we've had times this year where I think we did get a couple stops and big moments to where it's like, okay, this team just finds a way to win and is good in situational moments, but the defense needs to improve drastically in that for this team to make any type of run and be a playoff team next year.
I'm going to get to end this Zone's comment in a minute, but one more shout out here. Skol, guys. Thanks, Pops. Appreciate your support as always. Love you, boss. Having said that, both Rap and I have talked about trying to trade for that Miami cornerback, Xavier and Howard, but that might be difficult with having to get Miami to agree with it. This guy from the Steelers, Zoe, put the guy's name in there if you could, please.
Sutton, isn't it Sutton?
Flores? No, not Flores. Sutton, yes, Sutton. He's a slot cornerback. I think if you can get him, re-sign Duke Shelley, and maybe get one more veteran and allow guys like Booth, allow guys like a Caleb Evans to be those depth pieces, you're in business defensively in the secondary. I don't know how much that guy will cost. In fact, maybe I'll just look him up and see what his
Booth's got to stay healthy, though. That's the only thing with Booth. It's health. And that's huge. Your best ability is your availability.
What do you think about Booth? Other than if he was to stay healthy, what do you think about Booth?
I mean, it's kind of hard to really judge him because we didn't get enough looks at him last year. Like,
what was your evaluation? At least coming out of college, like
I loved it. If I remember doing mock drafts,
he was my guy.
Yeah, I remember doing mock drafts and us grabbing him at I think we had the 23rd pick last season. Or no, 12th pick. I'm sorry.
12.
Yeah, if we traded down, I was thinking in the 20s. Exactly. That I would take him in the 20s.
Exactly. We did our mock draft on the main page last year, and we traded back and we ended up drafting Andrew Booth at like 28th or 27th or something like that. So for us to grab him in the second round when I had felt like he was a first round guy, just off his production, just what he did at Clemson and just the flashes that he showed, I loved that pick. Even if we grabbed him in the first round, if those picks were switched or we grabbed Andrew Booth first and came back and grabbed Scene later on in that second round, that'd have been great too. But I loved Andrew Booth coming out. It's just so hard to look past the injury thing. I can't count on you. Yeah. So I don't even necessarily bring up his name because if I can't have you on the field, I'm not gonna put you on my depth chart. I'm sorry. Like,
I mean, the Vikings have had a history of first round picks getting hurt, second round in this case.
Yeah.
And like a Robert Smith, man, he blossomed, and you
Very
got,
true.
our
Chad Greenway.
I was going to say Greenway,
Yeah.
that was that was ACL, wasn't it? And he's going to be a ring honor, easily ring honor player.
Yep.
So there's been a history of players. Now here's what I always thought: when people get into their prime, honestly, injuries start trying to go away after they know how to take care of their bodies. They get more comfortable. They start listening to the trainers, the strength and conditioning. All that changes in the pros, and again, you just know better about your body. So I can see a player overcoming something like this. What was his what was his injury that finally he was it
a groin or a knee?
No, it was a meniscus. It was a meniscus.
Meniscus, that's right.
It was a meniscus.
Knee. Yeah, so it wasn't too major. Meniscus is pretty common, believe it or not.
But people are down on this draft class. But when you think about it, we got our starting right guard, who I think is promising.
Yeah, a lot of people are down on Ingram too.
Yeah.
He was a rookie, man. He's a rookie.
I think he started playing pretty solid at the end of the year. And I think there was a couple of games where he got bad rap only because he stepped on Cousins' foot.
Yeah,
and then he got blown up on a play where the guy had a huge jump off the ball at the goal line. Just there was situation. It was like is a rookie.
Yeah,
but then you got Asamoah. I think he's going to be starter for years.
Oh,
you got
absolutely.
Evans. I think he was our best corner outside of Peterson this year.
Shelley. I would have to give that one to Shelley.
I was going to say, yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So
love Shelley.
But we liked Evans, right? We liked when Evans was in there.
Absolutely.
So and that was the 4th round, right?
Yep.
And then what? And who am I missing here? I think there was another guy that played a lot. Oh, no, it's not. So and then I'm really high on Ty Chandler and Jalen Naylor.
Yeah,
and they just haven't got their chance yet because they're behind some people.
Don't get me started on the running back position.
No, not
dude. I don't know. People are. I don't know. I cannot get anybody to jump on my Ty Chandler train.
No,
to start
on the Naylor train.
I will jump on the Naylor before I jump on the Chandler. If I'm going to go down one of those two roads,
Dude,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, dude, he looked good in Carolina, man. He looked good in Carolina.
You're right. All right, let me get some shouts in here. I'm getting behind on this. Felicia, I see your question. I got that one star for a minute here, but we're going to finish up.
We get some special teams. We can get some special teams mixed in.
There we go. What do you guys think of Devin Bush in the zone that posted that question here? What do you guys think of him?
I heard he's slowing down. I got to do my own research, but just things I've heard about Devin Bush is that he's on the back end of his career. So I think I'll pass on Devin Bush.
You interested at all, Dave, or no?
I just
you take anybody. All right, fair enough.
I pass.
All right,
Don't know enough.
Dave Thibodeau, thanks for joining us. I think that's the 4th Dave I've seen in here, and I've already missed
a lot of Daves everywhere I go.
Everywhere. We're surrounded by Daves here tonight, so thanks everybody for joining us. If you haven't already done so, hit that like button, hit that share button, and subscribe to the channels if you could. All right, so we'll get to Felicia's comment here.
Yo, we're taking your questions, guys. We had no idea what we were going to talk about.
No,
you guys started questions.
We'll see what happens, and you guys have more than delivered here, but Felicia's got a good question. What do you think about Greg Joseph?
I'll let Dave go ahead first.
I'm all about continuity, and we've had a problem ever since Cluey got let go as our holder and punter, and is been a year by year change almost every year. And I honestly I think I think we found the solution last year in the season, and then we got rid of our punter. And what happens? Inconsistency again. And I give him it sucks, but I think we got to go into the year with all 3 of them and give them another shot. I don't think we're getting rid of our punter. He was amazing.
No.
You just got to be better at hold. I think you just got to have better continuity at holding, and everything. So that's my point on it. Is it's continuity thing more than anything. And what did Greg Coleman say? Same thing, right, Justin?
Yes. It's funny. I actually went back and listened to that earlier today about him talking about, hey, must keep your special teams consistent. So I guess I would sign him to a 1-year deal. I don't know that I'm ready to commit to him long term as of yet.
Yeah,
So
not long term.
I'll give him a 1-year deal. That is probably where I would top out at.
Yeah, I'm cool with keeping him around. I'm also not against going out there and grabbing another kicker. Look, you see that helmet? There's a kicker coming out of Michigan. His name is Jake Moody, okay? So if you want to spend a 7th round pick on a new kicker and grab Jake Moody, be my guest.
I don't think we have a 7th round, do we?
Do we not have a 7th rounder? Oh
we
my
only
God!
got 5 picks.
Is this the first time? When's the last time we didn't have a 7th round pick?
I think 2005, maybe.
We'll probably have 3 at the end of this. Let me look. I think we got a 6, but not a 7th.
You might be right.
Or no, is it the 4th or 5th that we don't have?
No, that's right. We got a 1st, 3rd. We got Detroit's 4th. We got our 5th, and we got the count in the 5th. So we don't have a 6 or a 7.
Oh,
so
wow.
We'll have to be making some moves there.
We're trading back in the 1st.
I almost guarantee we trade back in the 1st,
Yeah,
unless some godly. What do you think about the whole idea of getting that number 2? Like, we don't need a receiver, but we didn't need Randy Moss either, right? So what do you think of like a Jackson Najigba, falling to us at 23? Do you think that's a guy that, I mean, he's not Randy Moss, but I think he's a stud.
Here's what I do. I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a wide receiver.
Me neither.
But I also know how valuable the wide receiver position is in the NFL nowadays, and how if you can get a very good wide receiver on a rookie contract
on a 5-year,
that's very valuable. So I look and I say, okay, look, I can draft this receiver right here, but I also know I'm going to have a lot of trade offers. Guys that are coming early 2nd rounds trying to jump up and grab another receiver. And they'll give up a lot of draft capital for that, which last year we should have got. I'm not even going to talk about last year's trade back 20 picks and not getting a 1st round pick back from the Lions. Even though it wouldn't have been a top 10 pick this year, it would have been 18 or something
18,
like that.
I believe, yeah.
So it wouldn't have been.
I thought the same thing. I thought we were getting a 1st round back.
I did too. I said, "Oh my God, we're getting a 1st round pick back. We're going to draft.
We got a what
next year?" So no,
we didn't get a 2nd. We got a 3rd.
Oh
what?
My God.
And we gave up our own 2nd too in that deal.
Yeah.
That's what threw me off.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk. It's a new draft. It's a new year. It's a new year. But I look at the trade offers and say, if I'm able to trade out of this 1st round and possibly pick up a 1st round pick in next year's draft and set you up for the future, whether that be the quarterback position, whether that be a top defensive tackle that you want to grab, a pass rusher, whatever that is, it puts you in prime position in next year's draft when things are a little bit more clear. This offseason is really murky. We don't know what's going to happen with this team. So I think next offseason, it's going to be a little more clear of what the Kirk Cousins situation is, what if Dalvin Cook's still around, everything else, the Justin Jefferson extension. So I think if you're able to trade out of the 1st round, grab an extra 1st round pick, I think that's best case scenario. But I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a wide receiver there like Mbigba, I think his name is.
Njigba or whatever.
Njigba. Jackson Njigba. And then also Addison out of USC. I like Addison. He reminds me of Diggs a little bit.
What about Flowers?
I haven't been able to look at Flowers, but I've heard a lot of good things about him.
He is explosive.
Yeah.
In a tough guy. So I like him. He's growing on me.
Is the cat out of TCU coming out this year? Or is he next year? Cornelius.
I only can talk about the guys I looked at so far. I'm about 7 deep.
Yeah, I think he may be coming out next year, but he's like the top wide receiver prospect out of TCU. He was their number 1 wide receiver, number 1. Cornelius Johnson, I think his name was.
I'll look him up in a second.
But yeah, he's like a Mike Williams, big type of receiver, 50-50 ball guy.
Hey, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. We got like 8 likes, and there's more than 80 in this chat. So
yeah, I was about to
go.
say,
Let's
come
go.
on, y'all. Hit that like button. Help us smash.
4 of them are me. And 4 of them are me.
Slap that, man. Stop playing. You better slap that like button.
What's up, Zach? Thanks for joining us. Andrew, thanks for joining us as well. Andrew brings up a good question. Who's the first player to get extended to help us with the cap? I'm down on Ingram, hoping he was better this year. Let me address the Ingram part. I think that we're so scarred by this interior offensive line, whether it be guards or centers, that we put a little bit too high of expectations on guys coming in right away, to the point that you made earlier. SK, the guy was a rookie. He was okay. He was nothing spectacular, but he wasn't garbage either. So I definitely think we got to give him at least one more year before we completely throw the pitchforks at him. But to Andrew's question, who do you think is the first player to get extended to help out with this cap situation? What do you think, Dave?
Kirk.
I
think it kind of all revolves around Kirk first, right? He's going to get.
I think it's Thielen.
I was going to say Thielen.
Oh, I
would say Kirk too. Yeah.
So I think that you think they're going to extend Thielen?
I don't think they're going. No, I think they stretch that money out. I don't think they want him to go. I wouldn't be opposed to him leaving, because obviously the cap hit and everything. I love Thielen to death. Every Minnesota Vikings fan loves Adam Thielen. But I just think as far as the front office goes, they don't want him to go. At the end, they want to keep him around, but they're not going to pay that price. So if they're able to stretch that out over maybe the next 3 years, maybe toss them a little signing bonus to.
Well, don't you think though that you kind of know what you have to do after you extend Kirk a year or two? God knows what they're going to do, but at least a year.
Well, that's going to show us our true intentions on Kirk, what this front office feels about Kirk.
Right, and that's why I'm saying they would lead with it, right? And then
yeah. I mean, it makes sense to go quarterback first. I just the past 2 seasons we've kind of messed with tinkered with Kirk's contract, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean,
last year definitely. Last year.
Well, we extended void years. We got void years on the contract.
Okay, that's right, void years. So I don't know, man. Again, I wouldn't be opposed to extending Kirk Cousins. That's one of those things I'm not opposed to.
I'm saying it's most to me, everything I hear is most likely is going to happen. I just don't think Brian Flores signs with us and says, "Well, we're, what's the quarterback situation going to be?" So obviously we're not, I don't think trading is an option. Some may think that, but there was, testing the waters last year. I don't necessarily think there's going to be any, proactive testing the waters and trading Kirk this year, because they signed a guy like Flores to win now.
Yeah.
I just don't see, hey, we signed Flores. Oh, by the way, we're going to get rid of our quarterback. But I think, and I just feel like that's who we're going to go with first, because then I think the dominoes will fall with Justin Jefferson, a Thielen. We would know what money we need after that. That's what I'm thinking.
We're not touching JJ's contract till next offseason, right? Because we still got him under rookie deal for one more year.
But he's eligible for extension according to the bargaining agreement.
Monkey around with the numbers that way. You could definitely do it that way.
Now, do you want to extend him after a season that he just had?
Yes.
I mean, every season he keeps getting better, so it's like you got to. But
here's why I say you do it right away. Nick Bosa in San Francisco and Justin Jefferson are each waiting for the other to sign to see, okay, now you've set the market for non-quarterbacks. If the Vikings are smart, they get Justin Jefferson done, so that when Nick Bosa tops that deal by another $5 to $10 million, they're not having Bosa sign first and having to top his deal by
get it out of the way.
So
I don't know if people look at, hey, I'm going to be I'm comparing a defensive player to an offensive player.
No, they're comparing non-quarterbacks. That's what they're comparing. And both of those guys have
non-quarterbacks, but on offense, I think.
Either way. Nick Bosa and Justin Jefferson are going to set the market for.
Have you heard that, like, in a comparison conversation?
Absolutely.
I haven't. You listen more than I do, so.
They have talked about it. It's a thing. Like, it's a thing, between players. Who's going to be the highest paid non-quarterback?
To his point, which I agree with, is that, hey, well, they do it in major leagues all the time. They try to get these guys guaranteed money earlier in their career, and they'll sign, but they actually sign for less.
Yeah.
They do that all the time in MLB. But if we wait a year, he just gets that more expensive, right?
Right.
So,
yeah,
there you have it. That's my 2 cents.
Now, could we save money against the cap this year if we do extend him? Because what's his hit this year?
you see other contracts like that where it's 2 years that are very affordable and then it balloons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they'll work it out with signing bonus.
And they just keep kicking the can down the road.
He may get a raise these next 2 years, but it's not going to be crazy.
Signing bonus, yeah.
And then how much of it is actually guaranteed?
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, JJ's cap number coming up is only 4.175. So if you signed him to something, it would probably be a humongous, signing bonus. So I don't know that you're going to save a whole lot, but to thinking long term, you're going to want to get him done. Worthless brings up a very good point. The first move that they're going to make is just as simple. They're not necessarily going to extend Brian O'Neill. They're just going to restructure. Well, they'll just convert his money to signing bonus, and that'll free up. I think it was like $7 or $8 million right off.
Now that he's a perfect example. Go look at his contract. Very little guaranteed money in his last couple of years of his contract. We have a complete out on Brian O'Neill for some ungodly reason. Hopefully, he's completely good.
Extend that, man.
Yeah.
Extend that, man.
Well, I think at the end of his contract, he's like 31. So you could.
There's a lot of there's a lot of room to move with Brian O'Neill there, but AJ, I think AJ's got it. You got to extend Garrett Bradbury, right?
Hey, look. Hey, look. We go back.
That's another guy we're gonna get a draft pick for. We lose Peterson. We lose Dalvin. We lose Bradbury. Hopefully he signs that evaluation where he's got, like, people say he's got $10-11 million in him. I'm like, I hope so.
We were all praying for Bradbury to come back about a month and a half, 2 months ago. So let's stop it right now. I don't need no Bradbury slander, because we're all praying for him to come back when we had Sloatman in there snapping the ball
for the season, not to resign. For the season, yes, not to resign necessarily.
Look, I'm not saying resign him, but I will not stand for any Bradbury slander. Okay,
he would. How would he play in that playoff game, man?
Hey, man, we no comment.
Let's move.
Would you take Schmitz?
Yeah,
that's a question. Would you take Schmitz in the first round or early second?
That's another guy. If we can trade out of the first round and grab in the second round, and possibly grab a first round pick in next year's draft, that would be the perfect scenario. Perfect scenario.
God, that'd be crazy.
Perfect scenario. So
AJ thought you were funny, SK. Just so we're all clear
here. Hey, man, I'm here telling jokes too. I'm here all night.
That's your side hustle, is the late night comedian, right? But
yeah.
Andrew brings up a good point that we've got a couple years before we're going to have to give Christian Darrisaw some money as well. So that's also to be taken into account.
Oh, Jesus, he's amazing.
Oh,
shout out Rick Spillman. Shout out Rick Spillman. I know he doesn't get love. Drafted
for trading down and lucking out that he was still there.
Yes.
Hey, man. Hey,
it works. You got to give him credit when it actually works.
He knew the whole time, Dave.
Yeah, you didn't know.
Got a question there, SK, because you were on YouTube. You were out there doing content way before me. Did you? Well, I know when they were that year, that's when Fields came out, right? And we were testing the waters on how was it Spielman just honestly getting the Bears to pay more, or was he serious? Like, hey, I'm going to draft Fields. I want to really know how much. If it's cheap enough, I'll do it. Or did it work like a charm and they caused the Bears to overpay?
I think he was serious, because you look at how he speaks about Justin Fields to this day, and he speaks very highly of Justin Fields. If you look at some of his articles I think he writes for the 33rd team or something like that.
Yeah.
He speaks highly. He speaks highly of Justin Fields. And I think at that time he was looking at it as he knew his job was in jeopardy, just kind of the way things were going. So he said, I need to make a big splash move. What I need to do something here. If Rashawn Slater isn't sitting here, then I got to go and get a big splash in a quarterback or whatever it may be. So I think he really was going to draft Justin Fields.
I also think he really liked the guard USC.
Bear Tucker.
Bear Tucker, yeah.
I think that was the
how
guy
he was in New York.
he was willing to draft him right there. I think it just he got too much of a good trade.
Yeah.
That he said, okay, let me move down. And
thank goodness for
thank
that, by the
God.
way.
Yeah.
Thank God Darasov was still there. And who the lineman that
Leatherwood. Alex
Leatherwood is not even in the league anymore.
Oh,
yeah, we
Raiders.
didn't on that one, to say the least.
Oh,
let me get some shouts in here.
People that were talking about Leatherwood, man, I was like, no.
Oh, real quick, Justin, just like you brought up earlier in the show, Dave, about the whole first rounders getting injured. Darasol dealt with the injury his rookie year too for the first half of that season. Let's not forget that.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Now look at him.
We got our boy Rap in the house. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, great. Here we go, Rap.
Oh,
yeah. You already missed.
I wonder what the next question is going to be.
Yeah, I know.
The great hate.
We ain't going on. I want to say hello and thank you to Angela. This is the first time I see, so thanks kindly for joining us. I think we trade Carrick and get Gonzalez. If we could trade something for Kendricks and get something in return, yeah, I'm definitely for that. I don't know. Do you guys think we could get anything for Eric Kendricks at this point coming off that year, or you think there's something in there?
Yeah, I think you can. Absolutely.
We should be playing poker like no other if we're going to do something like that. Like, Flores should be saying his name every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, like, God, man, I fucking looking at the tape. I love this guy. I love this guy. You know, he should be saying that, you know, every chance he gets if we're going to do something like that. We got to sell this. We would have to sell this.
Yeah.
I think we're going to try to keep him, honestly. I think I'm 60-40.
60-40 keep?
I'm thinking, no, not that I want to. I just think 60-40 he's going to keep. I'm 50-50 myself. Because I'm like, hey, how much was it, Donatel? Well, earlier in the show, I told you why I think it was more Donatel. But I'm also, you know, because of the contract, would he stay for less? You know, Greenway took less money to stay with the Vikings. Would Kendricks do it?
Yeah, maybe. That's a good point.
Kendricks is taking a lot of pay cuts, though.
Yeah.
If
pay cuts?
Multiple. Yeah.
Or
multiple.
Restructures.
I know
restructures, you don't lose money. You just get it in bonus.
Yeah, he took a pay cut, I think, the same year Everson Griffin took a pay cut to keep Anthony Barr around. I think Kendricks also took a pay cut earlier on in the
pay cut? Okay.
I believe so.
I don't know.
I believe so.
I don't pretend to know.
I may be wrong.
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, most of them have been restructures, though. Like, Thielen's all been restructures. He's not made less money.
Yeah.
You know, and...
Yeah.
So let's talk about one more defensive player, because his contract makes it rather interesting, and that's Danielle Hunter.
Mary agrees with me. She knows.
Yes, she does. That's my train of thought. Oh, Danielle Hunter. So he's got a cap hit right now of $13 million. If they were to cut or trade him, his cap hit would balloon up to $18 million. So it would actually be taking on more dead money if they traded or cut him. But the problem is that he's got 1 year left before 2 void years, and he's only going to be making $4.9 million in actual salary this year. So I seriously doubt he's going to want to play the last year of his contract on such a low number here. What do you do with Danielle Hunter? Do you re-sign him? Do you try to get him for 1 or 2 more years, or do you want to just keep it? You want to sign him for the long term? What are you guys thinking? SK, I'll start with you.
Keep that man, sign him for a couple more years. I believe Flores is going to use him the right way. So I think you got to sign him for at least the next year. Got to.
Before Flores, I was leaning on the side of get the value in him because we were running a 3-4. But now Flores is I think KOC's on the same philosophy. I'm like, hey, now this makes sense to keep him. Does he want to stay on a defense like that? I think if Flores tells him his vision and how he's going to be used, I think I think Flores, more and more I just hear. I think players stayed away because all the controversy when he got the thing that happened with Miami, but now they're coming out of the woodwork supporting what kind of teacher he is, what kind of leader he is, and all that. And so I think Daniil needs, in no offense to him, he's a quiet leader, but I think he also needs to be led. And I think a personality. Not he's not big personality, but a what I'm saying. Flores is a leader, and I think he gets the best out of his players. And I think he can talk Daniil into like, hey, this is my vision. Stick with it.
I'm going to put your hand in the dirt.
Yes.
But you're right, Justin. I wouldn't play, if I was him, I wouldn't play for $4.9 million.
No. So if I'm the Vikings, I go to him and I bring Flores with, and I said, all right, we're going to use you the right way. We're not going to have you drop into coverage. We're not going to have you stand up. We're going to let you do what you do. Sign him to a 1 or 2 year extension, and then we'll see where things are at. And if
I think it'd take more. I think it'd take more than 2. I'm thinking 4 minimum. Don't you think?
Would you, as the Vikings though, would you want to commit to him for 4 years?
Well, you're still not giving him. You're still not giving him guaranteed money in that 3rd and 4th year, right? So
it depends on what he asks for, what he's amenable
right.
to.
It all depends on because he's bit the bullet for us.
Yeah,
he's bit the bullet for us. So.
Yeah, he bit the bullet a lot in 2018. So
he's expected to get taken care of.
Yes.
So I think he's back. Yeah, I think he finds a way to get back.
I agree with Andrews. If any one of the old guys play hardball, it's time to say goodbye. Yes, I would agree.
Yeah,
I would definitely agree with that.
I think Thielen's the one.
I think you have to
hardball.
Yes, too. I think that's one of the things that's been the themes on some of the last couple of shows and or videos that I've done is no more sacred cows, no more bending over backwards for legacy players. And at some point, it's the name on the front of the jersey is more important than the name on the back. We love Adam Thielen. We want Adam Thielen to retire a Viking. That would be great.
He can still retire a Viking.
Yeah, he still can sign a 1-day contract at the end. Absolutely.
Anybody that blames these players is crazy because it wasn't them that gave them these contracts.
No, I'm not saying it like that.
I know you're not. I'm saying that for posterity's sake, for anybody listening. The people that I'm sure there was some. I didn't look at. I don't look at comments on Twitter a lot. I just looking for maybe what people say, but not their comments. But I heard people were going after Thielen's wife and stuff. And, but hey, Thielen didn't restructure his contract. That's a team-led thing. It's usually written, from what I understand, written into their contract that at any time they're going to still get their money. They're just going to get paid in a bonus. And but hey, we're going to put all this at the end. That's Spielman and Brzezinski. That is not Thielen doing that.
Well, it can be in either case. There are some.
And how much did we pay him to start out with? We nothing in the 4 year. We didn't even play him till his 4th year, really. And like how much did we waste this guy's career? Not knowing what we had.
He's had a good time.
He's absolutely has. And all I'm saying is that I'm not going to be beholden to a player, regardless of who it is, regardless of what position it is, regardless of where they grew up. I'm not going to be beholden to making bad business decisions for the team.
Oh, yeah. I'm on board with you. I just don't. Right. There shouldn't be, not that you are, not insinuating at all. There should not be any animosity of him and what his wife's tweeting out there.
No, I mean,
they did not create this mess.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate you. We all want a championship. It's time for a change. I'll say this. If all they do this offseason is restructure and re-sign all their guys or all but one of their guys, to me, that's a mistake. There have to be some hard decisions. Man, I'm not saying get rid of every single older player or large contract player, that sort of thing. One, because I know the Vikings are just not going to do that. So I've given up the ghost on – maybe go about it a different way and maybe, take a year where you not necessarily tank, but maybe take a step back. That ship has long sailed because that ship never even made it to harbor since the Wills have owned this team. But what I am saying is I'm not just going to come out there and say, all right, let's re-sign and extend Harrison Smith for 3 more years. Let's do whatever we can to keep Adam Thielen and Eric Kendricks and Dalvin Cook. I'm saying that there's got to be some hard choices because at some point you got to move on from players. As Bill Belichick said, sometimes you got to know when to get rid of them 1 year early versus sticking around, and now you're getting rid of them 1 year too late. And so I think that's the key here. So we're going to wrap this up here in about 5 more minutes. So any more questions you want to throw into the chat here, throw them up here real quick. Time to do some housekeeping items. It's been scrolling at the bottom, but if you don't already, please do subscribe to Purple and SKOL'D Media. That is the new channel that SK is running that we will all be a part of. That's myself at Purple and Gold for Days, Minnesota Sports Talk with Dave, Purple Pocket Podcast with Rab, GG Sports with the boys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't already hit the like buttons on all the channels, please do so to get this going after we get done here tonight. So Mary makes another great point here. Love Adam Thielen. That is large picture, but it's time for him to part ways. Unless he can take a massive reduction, and I'm not saying he's obligated to. So let me be clear. I'm not saying anybody's obligated to give any of their money back. That's not what I'm saying.
Stop taking money from Thielen, Justin.
Okay. All I'm saying is that Adam's also going to have to understand that, he's not a top 15 wide receiver anymore either. So I get what his wife was coming from. It's like, hey, why don't you throw Adam the ball once in a while and maybe he can still do something? Okay, yeah. When we did, he'd run backwards for 5 yards. So let's all be reasonable here. But
caught it though, and it was a first down.
Yeah, I was about to say. What's up? Speaking of the boys, right on cue, GG Sports. Thanks for joining us.
Wow, you're late.
GG.
Well, they got their own show going at the top of the hour, and I was going to mention.
That's right. That's probably why they're on.
So I'll say this again. Once we're done here, tune it over to GG Sports Podcast. They're going live at 8 o'clock Central Time here. So when we're done, take your bathroom breaks, get your popcorn ready. They got a great show going on here as well. And everybody in the Minnesota area, yes, stay safe with all this blizzard conditions going around up here.
Hey, we're
84 degrees here.
We're four subscribers away from hitting 200 for the Purple and SKOL'D Media. So
hey, come on, y'all. I know there's at least 4 of you. I know there's at least 4
right
subscribers,
now.
Man.
Purple and SKOL'D.
Purple and SKOL'D, because we're scolded as fans.
I like that. I
know.
All right,
go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. Give us 4 more subscribers. Get us to 200. I might do a giveaway. If we get to 200 by the end of this video, I'll do a giveaway. We're at 196 right now. So we got 2 minutes? Yo. 2 minutes before we hop off here. So we'll finish up. I'll look back when we finish this video. If we're at 200, I'll do a giveaway on the page my next video. How about that?
Shameless plug. I'm 4 away from 450. So if there's 4 of you out there on Dave's channel or on the Facebook channel that's not on mine,
flex. Over here flexing.
I'm just following your lead, SK. That's all that I've been doing. Mary, you got 14 to 18 inches projected. Holy cow!
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, y'all.
Oh, hey, Mary, where are you at in South Dakota?
Where are you at, Mary?
Put where you at in South Dakota. I'm from South Dakota.
Oh snap! Ooh, yeah, giveaway, GG. You might want one in.
We gotta anybody who gets some got to thank GG because they're the ones that started that. Rap's gotten into it. I actually got a car when we get into that anyway. Everybody's doing giveaways now.
They're the giveaway guys.
They're the giveaway kings there. Well, just to kind of wrap this up here, just so everybody know, we haven't quite worked out our schedules yet, but keep it tuned to. She's in Sioux Falls. She said, by the way, Dave,
Sioux Falls.
My sister lives there.
There you go. Al's in Green Bay.
Oh, Al, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry, man.
Sorry, you have to.
Oh my God, the pain and the agony.
But
however, I hear it's the drunkest state in the 50 states.
Yes, it's not even close. Keep it tuned to all the channels. We're gonna have a lot of stuff coming down here the next couple of weeks. Obviously, March 20th, I think, is the day. Was it March 18th? One of those days where all roster bonuses become due. So any moves that are going to be made to try to incorporate roster bonuses into signing bonuses so that they don't all hit on this year's cap will be made. So we will go live. We will have some content coming out on all the channels here. So if you don't, please do subscribe to us. We are a family. We like to believe that, hey, what helps one of us helps all of us. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here this evening. And like I said, at the top of the hour, tune over to GG Sports Podcast. In fact, let me just go ahead and put those guys back up here one more time. So if you don't already follow GG Sports Podcast, follow them as well. Casey and Jamie are going to be breaking it down here in just a few minutes. Last thoughts, SK, on your maiden voyage here on Under the Lights?
Man, it was great. I had a great time. It's always fun talking Vikings with you guys. And I'm looking forward to what we got planned for this offseason, man. This draft coming up, me and Dave, we're hitting it hard, man. I know Dave's going to hit that draft board hard. I'm going to hit the draft board hard. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of things going on this offseason, not just Purple and SKOL'D Media, but the Minnesota Vikings in general. So I'm excited, man.
So are we. We haven't worked out all the details, but I think at least one, if not multiples of us, are going to go live on draft night. We might even do a simulcast. Who the heck knows? Definitely do something at the start of free agency, or if there's any breaking Viking news as well. Dave, anything else before we wrap up out of here, my friend?
No, man. GG Sports and I do the Skol Experience on Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern now. So we're getting more viewers at that time. So come check us out then. I don't remember if I got a guest on yet, but I've been slacking lately. I don't want to abuse my connections. But hey, and I'm also for sure 100% has been my life dream is to do a day of draft live show. So I am definitely doing. If anybody wants to be a guest or be a co-host or join, fine with it. But I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be doing my own. You guys can jump on if you want. It's been my dream ever since my dorm room. I'm 19 years old, man. Watching a 19-inch Zenith television.
Half the people in here don't know what a Zenith television is. They've been
the good old Zenith.
Think about that for a second. Well, that's gonna wrap us up, everybody, this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We very much appreciate you. If you could, like I said, go to the other channels, hit those like buttons, and let's smash this YouTube algorithm. And if you don't already subscribe to Purple and SKOL'D Media, please consider doing that. Thanks again, everybody. You have a great evening. SKOL Vikes.
Peace.